So when I think of youth leaders around the world who have inspired change, I think of, for example, Malala or Greta, but especially about the young people that I have the pleasure of working with at the European Youth Forum. It is important to say that all youth leaders are different, and that is what is invaluable. We all come from different walks of life, and we celebrate and value this diversity. But the core value that I think brings us together is our thirst for change and social justice. This drives us to fight for a better world for today and for the future, and where our world hears everyone, especially the voices of those that are the most vulnerable. Young leaders are always the first to stand up and to fight against injustice. We want a world where we can live freely and as equals, and where our planet is thriving. We know our system isn't working when we are still confronted by so many barriers. People are making decisions about our productive rights. Poverty and homelessness are a reality for so many young people, and so many places in the world are literally on fire right now because of inactivity on climate. We won't accept this, and we can't stand by and not do anything. One quality that youth leaders have been able to fully utilize is the power of masses, where we have been able to mobilize on the streets and online and call on those in positions of power for change. Youth leaders should be guided by values of solidarity, togetherness, and community, when no one is alone in this fight, and where we will all use our power and voice to stand up for those who cannot. Some of the challenges young people face today come from the fact that their human rights are not fully recognized in laws and policies. During COVID-19, also from our Beyond Lockdown, the pandemic scar of young people report, we saw that youth unemployment has nearly doubled. Young people transitioning out of their studies and into work are caught in an endless cycle of unpaid internships and temporary work. Young people are also working the same jobs as others, but they are earning youth minimum wages. They are turned away from minimum income schemes just because they don't meet the age-based eligibility criteria. Simply put, young people face discrimination on a daily basis because of their age. To address these socioeconomic challenges made worse by COVID-19, we want quality work for all young people, including through internships. We want the EU to introduce binding legislation that bans unpaid internships. This means, for example, introducing an EU directive that recognizes young interns as employees who are entitled to minimum wage and can access social protection. We want all minimum income schemes in EU member states to remove age barriers so that everyone, regardless of age, can equally access this. At the UN level, we want the adoption of a legally binding UN convention on the rights of young people with an accompanying monitoring mechanism so that young people's rights across the world are equally recognized and accounted for. Current laws and policies do not always factor in this situation of young people. These gaps exist because there is no legal framework that explicitly recognizes what young people's rights are. Young people are now staying in education longer, are facing increased challenges in finding work and living a financially secure and stable life. They face barriers also, for example, to voting simply because of their age. So to close these gaps, we need a UN convention. So young people have been at the heart of social movements, leading protests and campaigns. youth leaders and activists, so they are the ones generating empathy and discussion. They are getting people to think about whether the way things are run are working for people on this planet as well, and asking questions about what needs to change. It is important to know that young people make up for more than 25% of the world's population, but they are typically left out of decisions that affect them. They are our leaders today, but also in the future. To build back better, there must be spaces for meaningful youth participation, so that young people can be at the table with other decision makers. So at the European Youth Forum, we advocate for a youth impact assessment, which is called a EU youth test, so that young people are fully accounted for throughout their lives, are meaningfully engaged in all policy processes, which is the place where steps are taken to mitigate the challenges faced by young people.